Galbraith with us right now. Peter's the former UN Assistant Secretary General in Afghanistan. Thank you, sir. Your impressions of relitigating this botched withdrawal a few years later today on Capitol Hill?
You know, this is not about trying to learn anything about Afghanistan. It's a partisan exercise, like so much of what's going on. It has gone on Capitol Hill. There is a need for a serious inquiry as to what happened in Afghanistan, but it's not about the final days of the withdrawal. It's about the 20 years and a war that cost us, counting all the tail-end costs like care of those who were wounded and everything else, maybe on the order of $3 trillion. And it is a failure, which I would actually pin on the military, and particularly perhaps General Petraeus, who promoted a counterinsurgency strategy, which if General Petraeus was being asked about it, he would tell you requires a partner. And we never had a partner. Our partner in the Karzai regime was corrupt, ineffective, and then after a series of fraudulent elections, which the United Nations tolerated, the United Nations paid for them, the U.S. government tolerated, it was illegitimate. So if you don't have a partner, your strategy doesn't work. And we should have had a different strategy.
Let me use a clip from President Biden, not now, but then, when he talked about his own logic for getting out after maybe agreeing with you on some of your analysis of what had gone on for 20 years. This is from 2021, President Biden. Let's watch.
War in Afghanistan was never meant to be a multi-generational undertaking. We were attacked. We went to war with clear goals. We achieved those objectives. Bin Laden is dead, and al-Qaeda is degraded in Iraq and Afghanistan. And it's time to end the forever war.
Now, it sounds, Peter, like you agree essentially with that analysis. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't the onus still fall on the sitting president to execute that withdrawal more efficiently?
Yeah, first, to give President Biden, then Vice President Biden, his due, this was an argument he made in 2009 at the beginning of the Obama administration. But the problem in this situation is there's no way to execute a withdrawal in an orderly fashion. Because the moment you start to withdraw people, the Taliban, the other side's going to increase their attacks and take advantage of it. And the Afghan government is everybody's going to run away. So there's no way you're going to get an exit that's going to be substantially different than the exit that took place. In fact, the exit that took place, terrible tragedy at Abbey Gate, which was not blamed on the Taliban, but ISIS. But otherwise, there was a deal with the Taliban that allowed for an orderly exit, and also we took lots of Afghans. I would fault some of the process. We took some of the people who shouldn't have come, and we didn't take all the people who should have come. I spent a lot of time on those days trying to get people who worked for the UN mission, who had worked for me out, and I was very unsuccessful at that. My wife was a diplomat there at that time,
right,
and she tried people who were working there for the U.S. government out, and she failed as well.
Now, all of that said, to your point about what happened at Abbey Gate, the tragedy there and the loss of life there, including U.S. soldiers there, the president, I know this is not necessarily your area of expertise, has certainly paid a domestic political price for this. We're going to look at a chart of his approval rating. When you come into office, obviously, you have what they call honeymoon period. And President Biden was, relatively popular, 57% approval, January of 2021. The fall of Kabul, August 15th of 2021. By September 1st, his approval had gone to 43%, and he really hasn't recovered since. So, it's hard maybe to navigate, like you said, but was there any other option here for this president other than the way it was executed? Just dealt a bad hand, is your point?
Look, he was implementing a deal, frankly, what I would call the surrender deal that was negotiated by Donald Trump. His choice was not to, keep 2,500 troops there longer, because, as I think General Milley said, the Taliban would have resumed the offensive.
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.